Namaste. I would like to share the experiences of a delegation of Socialist Party of India, which recently visited the areas affected by the India-Pakistan war in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terrorist attack. The first family that we met was that of Mr. Raj Thapa, the additional divisional commissioner in Poonch, who was killed while he was conducting a meeting. He's a Dalit officer, very popular among the people, accessible to the people, but unfortunately he got killed. And the family was distraught, obviously, but they were unhappy with the fact that the government didn't do enough to save the life of Mr. Thapa. This was a common refrain among people who live in the villages next to the line of control, the virtual border between India and Pakistan. In Rajouri, Poonch and Uri, people said that they should have, if they were informed prior to the war began, they would have evacuated the area and moved to safer locations so that their lives could have been saved. About 30 people have been killed overall in India, and 18 of them in Kashmir. And the district which has had most number of deaths in Kashmir is in Jammu and Kashmir is Poonch, 13 or 14 deaths. Now, the most heart-rending story is of Vihan, 13-and-a-half-year-old child who used to live with his parents Sanjeev and Rashmi. On the night of 6th and 7th May, early hours of 7 to 2:30 a.m., shelling had started. When they opened their TV, they saw these scenes of war being aired. Vihan got frightened, he started shivering, he had to be given medicine, he went to sleep around 4:45 a.m., but then he got up within half an hour by a blast and was again afraid. But his father tried to divert his attention by giving him some mathematics exercise, which he did very quickly. And by that time his friends were awake. They started chatting over social media. Some of them were praising Narendra Modi for having avenged the deaths of tourists in Pahalgam. And some of the brave ones started to venture out, and they started collecting the pieces of shell which were lying after the shelling. That is when Rashmi had a premonition, and she took away this piece of shell from Vihan's hand. And soon their friends and relatives had started moving out of Poonch in the hope of moving to a safer location. And the Sanjeev, Rashmi and Vihan family also decided to leave Poonch. But within 10 minutes of their leaving their place, as they were driving, they were hit by a shell. And when Sanjeev says that he regained consciousness, his wife, soaked in blood, was lying next to him on the seat next to the driver. And when he turned around and he put his hand at Vihan's chin, the pieces of flesh from the brain came into his hand. That was the end of Vihan, 13-and-a-half-year-old child, and end of future for Rashmi and Sanjeev, until they recover this loss. And presently they are totally distraught. Sanjeev says there's no meaning for him for things like patriotism, national security, foreign policy, and he has a bleak future. There were deaths of Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs in Poonch. Gurdwara was attacked, mosques were attacked, and one Sikh gentleman was so unfortunate that he brought his entire family from a top floor to the ground floor shop, and a piece of shell reflected from the opposite building pierced through the shutter of his shop and hit him, and he died. His daughter is still in the hospital in Jammu getting treatment. Some people have been treated and released from hospitals. We visited the patients, there were two of them at that time in Government Medical College in Rajouri, and the patients, serious ones, are also being moved to hospitals in Jammu. People in Uri were very passionate, and they said that people from UP and Bihar, that is, they were referring to the mainland India, who want war, the warmongers, must come and live in the border villages one day when the shelling is taking place. One of the young men asked us that when our children go to sleep, they probably talk about the next day. They look forward to the next day, their activities in a school or extracurricular activities. But the children in the border areas of LOC on the Indian side ask their parents, where do they have to sleep in the night? On the bed or under the staircase? That is, if the shelling is going to take place, they have to be at a safer place. So they are always worried about it, and in this atmosphere of uncertainty, they have a bleak future. So people in Jammu Kashmir are not very happy with the state of affairs. They think that they have to pay a price for this enmity between India and Pakistan, because they are the ones who get hit every time. They say that it is a dispute between India and Pakistan, and they go to war, they reach a ceasefire, and people of Jammu and Kashmir are left to their fate, because they don't know whether another terrorist attack will not take place on them. So we also met the Lieutenant Governor, and we informed him of the relief that people have got and the people who have not got. And people were also unhappy with the fact that they were getting a pittance of 6,000 for partial damage and 1,30,000 for what the government calls fully damaged houses. But people thought it was too less, and the families where people have died have got 10 lakh rupees, or at least the first installment of 6 lakh. And in the case of Sikh families, the Gurdwaras have also come forward to help. In the case of Muslim families, for example, Sayyid Adil Hussain Shah, who the pony man who died along with the tourists, he was the only Kashmiri to have died along with the people who were all from outside. His brother has got a job which has been offered by the Waqf board, and a house is being built for him, for his family, surviving family, by the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde. The brother of Adil, Naushad, was very positive. He explained that when his parents were distraught at the death of Adil, he consoled them and he said that your son has done something very big. He has died in a humanitarian cause trying to save the lives of the tourists. And he told us that he makes an appeal to the tourists that they should not stop coming to Jammu and Kashmir, because there are more young people like Adil who will lay down their lives in order to protect the lives of their guests. The Kashmiris are ashamed that this incident of Pahalgam has happened, which has targeted their guests, because Kashmiris are known for their very warm hospitality. In fact, when we were going from Rajouri to Poonch, we lost the way, and one man at 9 p.m. in the night wanted us to have food at his place before we progressed forward. So this is the kind of hospitality that you see in Kashmir, and there was a general embarrassment at what had happened, and that is why there was a shutdown in entire Jammu and Kashmir in response to the Pahalgam terrorist attack. We hope that the government is more careful next time. It wants the people so that people can save their lives in the situation of a war. The government is planning to build some bunkers, but people are not convinced that whether everybody will be able to have a bunker to save themselves, and also whether these bunkers will be effective. Because if you are caught unawares, you are traveling from somewhere and you are caught in the open, then you may not have enough time to go to the bunker. So bunker is not the solution. People feel that the only permanent solution to peace in Jammu and Kashmir is the resolution of their issue by the Indian and the Pakistani governments. It is hoped that when India and Pakistan will resolve this issue, the problem of terrorism will also end. Thank you.